Hi everyone, this is Lindsay from Imaginary Rebel Art Studio, and today I'm just coming on to give a quick lesson on mop brushes, which look very much like makeup brushes, but they're a little bit thicker, but very close. So if you're in a pinch, you could always use a makeup brush. But anyway, we're going to use those. They're kind of different sizes, and I'm just going to do a quick demonstration, and then at 3 o'clock I'll do my live, which we're doing a pumpkin today. But anyway, I'm gonna sit, and I hope everyone's day is going good. Today I'm gonna use black, green, and white. So I'm using like a sap green and then just black and white. And so let me just get this posted here, and then we'll be good to go. Hope everyone's having a good day. All right, looks good. Alrighty, let me just turn the volume down on this one. There we go. Okay, so mop brushes. So they've been around for a pretty long time, and I think it's mostly in the professional world. I've never seen these in like the craft paint world or paint party world, you know, things like that. And they actually come in all different sizes that I don't even have. But I just kind of wanted to show you some things you could do with them. And then this one's not really a mop brush. This is like a antique kind of brush, but it's really neat. It gives a really neat texture. So I wanted to show that to you too, because it's very similar to a mop brush. So anyway, they come in different sizes. Some are coarser than others. This one I've used quite a bit, and so now it's different. It's green now, but this one's a very coarse one. This one's a little bit more loose. This one, again, a lot, they're just different hairs kind of, but they're also just different shapes. You can kind of see that. So I'm just going to demonstrate a little bit on what you can do with them. So the basic real thing that you could do with these kind of brushes is like trees and bushes. You can do like some waterfall stuff with it, but it's really just meant for really outdoors kind of paintings. So I'm gonna start with, the one thing about mop brushes is you don't want to get it wet, because when you get it wet, it changes the shape of the brush, and then you really just have to wait for it to dry before you can get that shape again. Because what we're really doing is using these bristles to make the shape we need. So when it does get wet, it changes and doesn't do what you need it to do. There are things you can do when you get it wet, but to do any kind of foliage and things like that, you really want to make sure your brush is dry. So I'm just going to use a little bit of black with a little bit of the green. And so this is what I have right now. So you really just put a tiny bit on your brush. You don't need a lot of paint on this. I like to overload my brushes, which is not what you're supposed to do. So really not very much, just on the tip there. Kind of spread it around there. And then I'll go over here, and you just kind of, you see if you guys can see that. Okay. And so it kind of makes that kind of, this one kind of makes that kind of shape. So if we kind of go around in a circle here, this is like going to be like a bush, for example. So I'm putting down a dark layer right now, the base layer. And then I'm just going to kind of push down, make a little underneath here. Then I'm going to take some of the sap green color, which is basically just a really dark green color. You kind of just put that on top. I'm going to mix it with a little bit of white so you can see it. So you can kind of see how that makes like a kind of a bush. And then if you put a little bit more white on there, like a highlight, kind of just makes that kind of bush for you. So that's one of the things you could do with it. Another thing you can do is tree tops. So you can do that. Usually you need a little bit more of a stiffer mop brush to do like trees and these kind of things. The ones that are a little bit softer, in my opinion, don't work very well. But so that's kind of an option there. That could be the top of a tree. So it's really just about like the foliage kind of thing. Just doing different ones. So I'm gonna stop with that one. I'm gonna go to a different one. Where's this one? Here we go. So I'm going to kind of do, what you could do is you could push it together like this. And I'm just gonna get in the sap green here. Again, I'm just getting it on the top of it. I'm not getting the whole brush. And then again, I'm not getting it wet. So you can kind of do like a, kind of like a vine, I guess. You press it together enough, but there's some that are small enough where you can do it without pressing it together. So it just kind of depends on what you're doing with it. And then you would just, again, push it around like this. And then I'll get some white. So that could be like in a forest or something if you had kind of a forest theme. Let's see, another thing it could do, let's see, let me get some blue. I'm gonna use this aqua blue real quick. And you know, there's so many other tricks you could do. So, you know, really sky's the limit with this, but all I've really used it for is this kind of foliage kind of thing. So again, I didn't get water on my brush. I haven't used water at all. So I have this green on here, but I'm gonna put this aqua color on here. Just kind of dab it here. Get it all on my brush here. See, just a tiny bit. And so what you could do is you kind of start from here and then pull down. And you kind of can make a waterfall kind of look. As long as you go like to the left and pull down. And you can make a waterfall like with a fan brush like we did last time. And I think you can even do it with a flat brush. But this is one thing you could do with it. And then let's see, you could also do like little spray kind of up here. If I had a darker background, you probably would see that better, but like that. And again, I'm using that same brush. There's also different kinds. There's different, this is more of a longer brush. Let's see, this is more of a filbert brush. but they're all considered mop brushes where you can do stuff like that. But I'm going to use this big brush. So this is 2 inches. This is probably too big, but I just wanted to demonstrate it. Again, I'm not getting any water on it, like at all. So let me get some pink. I'm going to get some fluorescent pink out. There we go. Get all excited here. So I'm just going to put a little bit here on my brush. And again, kind of just like that. And then like if it was going to be on this vine here, I kind of just go like, well, there's a little bit too much on there, but I mean, it kind of still makes that kind of look. You know, similar to that, but this is a little bit more spread out because it's a larger brush. So I know there's a lot of other things you could do with this brush. I know it's more for like antique furniture, kind of like brushing that type of stuff. This is like a big chalk brush, but it kind of makes the same kind of texture. And so right now I'm really like experimenting with different textures. And so that's why I'm kind of like trying all these different brushes out to see kind of what they can do. And so you just have to like get that going here. A little bit of white on top of there. That probably is too much, but again, it's just to get that kind of like look, that kind of texture. I mean, you could do this with, I'm gonna use one of these brushes for the pumpkin that I'm gonna do in a few minutes. But it's just like another brush that I just never knew existed that really I use for bushes and trees. I haven't really made any waterfalls or anything like that yet, so when that comes, I can show that in a different video. But let's see. I'm gonna get a little bit of this. I just really like a lot of these colors, and again, this is what you're doing. This one is a little bit smaller, so it's for like a smaller space. And then you can also just drag it, you know, color like this if you need to. I mean, it does blend. That's also another, actually a reason that people use mop brushes, probably one of the main ones, is that it blends really well. So let me go to a different page here. And let me just use a regular paintbrush here. I'm just gonna use a flat brush. I'm gonna get it wet a little bit. And I'm just gonna do like some of this green, some of this teal. That's like an ugly color. Let's see. There we go. You know, you go like this. And it gets very streaky. You can see my streaks from my brush. And so what the mop brush is mainly used for is to blend this out. So let me just paint a little bit more here. Okay, before it dries, you have to do it when it's wet. So I'm gonna get another dry mop brush. It's not wet, it's completely dry. And you just go like this. Let me see if I can lower you here. You're going in circles to make it look more blended, a little bit more soft, like a soft kind of background. So you can kind of see the difference. So there, now it looks more, a lot more blended and a little bit more, again, not as harsh as those lines are. So that's the main way a lot of professional artists use the mop brush, is to blend. You just do it in a bunch of circles and then voila, done. But that is it for my tutorial on mop brushes. Just a little quick one. It's really just to introduce you into brushes that you might have never seen or might have never even played with before or painted with. So that's kind of the end of that tutorial. I'll have longer tutorials later, but this is just, again, introduction into one. And then I'm going to shut this off and then start my pumpkin live in just a few minutes. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in a few.